Hey, I'm Dr. FJ, so we'll get into it right away. Thanks for being patient. So we'll plan to go for about a half hour, and then I can step aside and answer any questions if anybody has them. But we should be able to get through everything in about a half hour. Tonight, a lot of it you probably, for the most part, know. There's a couple popular diets we're going to talk about, one in particular, and what I'm going to say is going to be, there's pens and handouts right there. What I'm going to say is going to maybe be a little different than what you've heard. But my goal when I started doing these workshops was not try to overwhelm you with science and research, because then you go home and you go, that was a nice talk, and you don't do anything. If you don't do anything, nothing changes. Okay, so the goal is not to come up with some mysterious secret. It's to get the daily discipline, simple fundamentals. And if you do those things, you will be healthier. Okay, so I want you to go home with some just core ideas that you can implement tonight to make you and your family a little bit healthier. Okay, I'm part of a not-for-profit group called the Health Crusaders, and it's all about community education. And what I realized is your understanding, your knowledge is important, very, very important. Because if my goal is to get to Chicago, when my strategy says I should go north, I'm not going to get my goal. So and I have a lot of patients that are eating low-fat food and diet sodas thinking that that's the healthier option. So they're trying really hard. But when that is your understanding, when that's your knowledge base, it doesn't matter how committed you are. You're not going to get the goal. So we have a smaller group tonight, but still please write down questions, and then I'm happy to answer at the end. Even with a small group, if we start firing questions, we can be here for an hour or two, and if any of you need to get out of here or whatnot, I want to make sure you get all the basics, and then we can answer questions after that. So a little bit about me, for those who don't know me, I'm a chiropractor here in town. I do a very unique form of chiropractic. We'll talk about that a little later. I know everyone's usually number one fear when they come to one of these talks and they hear a chiropractor talking is they're afraid I'm just going to talk about chiropractic the whole time. And I promise you that's not the case. Okay, we're going to go through a lot of really valuable information that works. And I think now more than ever it's really important to have good knowledge sources for everything, because you can get on Google and read a blog by some 12-year-old kid. You don't know that. And has he ever seen someone get healthy? Has he ever really seen change in people? It's easy to have opinions. It's another thing to be able to consistently deliver a result. So I grew up, my father was a chiropractor. He did traditional chiropractic. My mother was a nutritionist and herbalist. And I was very fortunate. I didn't realize, at 10, I knew you could take garlic and golden seal, if you didn't feel good. All these different little things that I never really appreciated until I went and I was playing college tennis down in South Florida, and it was my freshman year. I went back to hit an overhead, my back just lit up on fire. We were in Orlando playing UCF, and I lost the match. And I remember going to my athletic trainer about a week later, because it just kept getting worse and kept getting worse. And we tried everything: massage, ice, heat, electric stim, ultrasound, and nothing worked. Eventually I couldn't play anymore. So I had to sit out the rest of the season, and I had a hard time even sitting in class. And it taught me one of the greatest lessons in my life, because I was here, I'm living a mile from the beach, literally, in Boca Raton, Florida, playing a college sport. I'd always wanted to do that, and I was miserable. It's 80 degrees in January, and I'm miserable. And I remember one night, literally lying in bed, just crying, because I didn't want to feel that way. And after months and months of suffering, you can feel hopeless. I went home, and my father checked my back, and he adjusted me, and I got relief. And I remember what that did for me just psychologically, the change. And I did better. I still had to get adjusted every couple weeks to keep the pain at bay, but I did better. And then years later, I got in, I graduated chiropractic school, because it was after that moment that I knew, I always thought, oh, I'll be a chiropractor, dad's a chiropractor. But after that moment, I was like, I want to help people the same way. Ease people's suffering, bring joy to people's life. And I started, my wife and I opened our office over 9 years ago, and I was doing regular chiropractic, and we did help some people, but they had to keep coming all the time, every 2, 3, if someone could go 3 or 4 weeks, that was a long time back then. And a lot of people didn't get better, and some people got worse. And my own back pain, my wife was having to adjust me every other day, or my back and would just get super severe and burn. So I knew this couldn't be the answer. So I went to a lot of seminars, found a whole different technique called NUCA, and now I don't get back pain. I get adjusted once or twice a year now. It's completely different. We also got really into nutrition and studying that to help people's bodies heal from the inside out. So we're going to cover a few things. Why is the liver really important? What new diet is super popular on social media is not good for your liver. And then 3 simple things you can do to help your liver. And then how does liver affect the number 1 killer, heart disease in the U.S.? It's very actually interesting. So we're going to get into all that tonight. But first, your attitude towards your health is more important than anything. Because I have a lot of patients come in and they've been told, no matter what you're going to do, you're going to have heart disease. No matter what you do, you're going to have this or that. And if that's your belief, then why would you get up when it's cold and dark and exercise? Why would you put down a donut and pick up spinach if it doesn't matter? You have to believe it matters if you're going to sustain it. If you really want to make a big change in anything, it's best to start 2 things. 1, have a reason. My patients that come in with a reason always stick. They want to play golf in the spring. They want to play with their grandkids. They want to go on a vacation with their spouse. They want to hike this. They want to hike that. They want to do this. When you have a reason, you can go through the ups and downs. I think it was Nietzsche or Goethe said, if there's a why, you can do it almost anyhow. And then get a partner. It's easy to quit on your own. It's really hard to not go to the gym if your friends in there waiting for you at 6 a.m. So having a partner is really important. If you're going to make dietary changes and your spouse isn't, it's not going to last. Maybe 1 out of a million, just extraordinary discipline, but it's highly unlikely. Okay, genetics, we blame a lot of things on genetics. 3 to 7% of disease is from genetics. That's it. So well over 90% of the time, how you take care of your body dictates how it functions. Okay, you don't have to be a saint. I put this slide in because years ago I gave a talk and I'll never forget this lady. She's like, you make me feel so bad. That's not the point. I want you to feel like inspired or empowered or something. So you don't have to be a saint. You don't have to be perfect. It's what you do most of the time that counts. So your health is a lot like a checking account. You make a lot of deposits, then you can withdraw. If you're always withdrawing, it's a problem. The bank's going to say, oh, there's nothing left. When you do that with your health, there will be a problem at some point. It might be in a year, it might be in 50 years, but it will happen. So my parents practice this. I practice 5 on, 2 off. 5 days a week, we eat healthy, we do all the right stuff. You come to my house on a Friday night, it's probably pizza and beer and soda. I don't want you to walk in and be like, oh, you're a fraud. And then some weeks it's 0 on, 7 off. Over the holidays wasn't the healthiest 2 weeks of my life. But that's part of that flow. It's just being aware of it. But if you have an issue, there can be no off times until you get into the black, right? Until you've made enough deposits where you can make a withdrawal. See, Sundays we go to my wife's parents' house and there's donuts. It's fine, right? My kids have chlorella every day and vitamin D and C and this and that and kombucha and all this good stuff. So that's part of the withdrawal. It's okay. It's what you do most of the time that counts. So you don't have to be a saint. Right, so your liver is essentially a filter. So are your kidneys, but your liver is so incredibly important. So your blood goes through your body, and your liver is going to pull out toxins, and it's going to process fat. Okay, and that's why water is so important. Filter is really complicated. The heart's very simple, right? A pump. It's pretty simple. Lungs a little more complicated, but also. But now the liver, a filter is a complicated thing. And it will dictate. It's cleaning the blood. Blood goes everywhere else. So if your liver's falling behind, your blood's not getting clean, you get dirty, nasty blood, it's going to affect everything. It plays a huge part in the immune system along with the rest of the gut. So So if you want clean blood, if you want a healthy, functioning immune system, you have to have a properly functioning liver. What's the number one cause of liver failure? People usually think alcohol. It's Tylenol, acetaminophen. So you have to be very mindful when you put those things in your body, because they're very hard on your liver and your kidneys. My wife played volleyball at Madison, and the trainers there gave her a ton. She was having a lot of migraines after a car accident, some other issues. And they put her on a lot of Tylenol and ibuprofen. Altered. One of her teammates actually had her colon removed because they're given so much ibuprofen and Tylenol, ate through her gut. Didn't happen to my wife, but we started celery juicing every morning. And after the initial kind of, your body just, you're running the toilet all the time. Then all of a sudden she just had malaise and headaches, and she felt terrible for a while. And it took us a while to figure out what was going on. What was happening is her body, the juice was cleansing her liver. Because your liver, when you have toxins like that, your liver will literally hold on to it. Just bury those toxins deep down. If it can't keep up and clean it, it's going to try to hold on. That way those toxins aren't just circulating throughout your body. Because that will beat up your heart and your pancreas and everything else. So if you start this and all of a sudden you feel terrible, doing some of these things, it doesn't mean what you're doing is wrong. It may mean your body's healing. So stick with it. So your liver needs oxygen, water, glucose, mineral salts. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So many people are dehydrated, yet it can create so many problems. If you don't have enough water, your blood gets thick unnecessarily. You can't carry the oxygen like it should. It also makes it really hard on your liver to filter. And then what's pushing all that blood through your body? Heart. Okay? How hard is it to suck water through a straw? Pretty easy. What about a thick milkshake? Pretty tough. Your blood's like a thick milkshake. Heart has to work harder than it should. High blood pressure. Years of that unrelenting, heart disease. Nothing wrong with the heart. It's just being forced to work harder than it should. Because the liver, essentially your diet. So I'll get into the keto, the high fat diet. I do like a lot of fat in the diet, good healthy fats. But what a lot of people have gone with this Atkins and things, and you see a ton of people's blood pressure shoot up through the roof when they get on these, because they don't really do it right. They just end up doing usually meat and meat typically, which is, I like meat too, within reason. But they cut out fruits and vegetables. Never a good idea, right? Common sense. Has anyone ever said like, oh, if I could just put down all these carrots, I'd lose some weight, or I'd be healthy? It can't happen. It's just common sense. Sometimes if it's worked for 1,000 years, it'll probably work in our lifetime. Fruits and vegetables, lots of them. Mineral salts, you can get those from like a lot of foods, vegetables, unrefined sea salt, unrefined Himalayan salt. But glucose is the key thing to remember here. Where do you get glucose from? Good healthy carbs. It's a sugar. I'm not saying go eat processed sugar, but there's like been a push towards avoiding fruit and fruit juice. It's so healthy. So I'll get into that a little bit more. So a few of what your liver's got to deal with. And some hidden things you don't think about are like the solvents, air fresheners, your cleaning products. If those are highly toxic, now your liver's got to clean all that. Now if your diet's not great, easier to change your cleaning products than to change your diet. So just keep those things in mind. And when you get, the biggest reason to get organic is because it doesn't have these poisons. Or get local. We're lucky to live in this part of the country and have so many local farmers. You can go to the farm, right? You can see the cow get sunlight and grass and It's not our factory farm where the chickens never go outside, don't see sunlight, they're packed together, they eat each other's fecal poop. That's happening. Go on YouTube and look up factory farms. It's crazy. Toxic heavy metals. So a long-standing high-fat diet can create a high-fat liver, fatty liver, but it's usually drugs and medication use is the most common. Alcohol abuse could do it, but usually poor diet or lots of drugs and medication. I was at a nutritional seminar, and the guy teaching it took care of a basketball player, Danny Ainge, when he was for the Suns. This was in Phoenix. And he came in, he's Mormon, never had a drink in his life, he had a fatty liver. Only like 28, 30 years old because of all the ibuprofen and Tylenol stuff that he'd been given. Now you can cleanse it, hydrate. Easiest thing you can do. It's so healthy for your liver. It's just drink enough water. If you're 200 pounds, drink 100 ounces of water, at least. If you're 100 pounds, drink 50 ounces of water. If you're going to be a rock star, squeeze a little lemon and lime in it. Really great for the liver. Or some cucumbers. The lemon and lime are great. They're great for the stomach with the hydrochloric acid they have. It also helps cleanse the liver and protect the liver. Drink water, right? Everybody knows that. There's nothing new. It's just, are you doing it? Are you doing it? My sister-in-law, when she worked for us years ago for a year or two, she heard me talk about drinking water all the time, so she just put a cup up by her sink. Every time she went by it, she would drink a glass of water. So sometimes that's the easiest way to create a habit, is create a trigger first. Put something out to jog your memory. Okay, so this is probably the most important slide. So, if you're eating and drinking fruits and vegetables, you're in good shape. All right, organic, non-GMO is the best. Also, if it's juice, fresh. A juicer is a very worthwhile investment. Very. I use mine 4 or 5 times a week. But these are all the things that are good for your liver. Essentially, just about every fruit and vegetable in the world is good for your liver. I have some of them in the sheet. I didn't want to put every one of these. But I'm not going to get in, and they're all different and good for different reasons. We're not going to get in all that. Would be here for a week. But just know that, like if you like sweetener, get some maple syrup or some raw honey instead of refined sugar, or even worse, high fructose corn syrup, or even worse, artificial sweeteners. And we attack sugar, but sugar usually comes with fat, and not good quality fat. And you don't usually see avocado with sugar together. That's not how it's the nasty fats, which we'll talk about a little bit. But just take 2 minutes, write all this down, and just get these things in your body. You know, celery juice is an amazing way to start your day. Then have some lemon or lime water. And then maybe if you have another juice, you're really a rock star. Like an orange carrot or an apple carrot or an apple spinach or cucumber juices nicely. Create a lot of juice. And cucumber plants grow, I mean, they produce a ton of cucumbers in the summer. Grapes, berries. So it's basically eating the way you would think we should eat, right? Mostly fruits and vegetables, a little bit of clean meat. You're in good shape. You can have some bread here or there if you want, if you're not allergic and intolerant to it. But if you do that, get the bread with the long fermentation process. There wasn't that much gluten intolerance 50, 60 years ago, because when they made bread, they have it ferment for 2 or 3 days. But then you can't mass produce it. When you ferment it that long, it breaks the nutrients down. When you mass produce it and you do the real quick fermentation, totally different. And then you saw the gluten intolerances get more and more common. But if you're intolerant, you can't have it, at least not for a while. Everyone pretty much get that? Nothing earth-shattering, which is good. Oh, we have an email newsletter if you want to sign up. We send out emails regularly. For all supplements, if you get on some of these supplements like garlic, you can either have fresh raw garlic or you can get a supplement. You need a quality source. Most of the supplements, and I don't want to offend anybody, but most supplements at Costco, I wouldn't get them there. We shop at Costco all the time. I wouldn't get my supplements at Costco. I wouldn't get them at GNC, Walgreens, Walmart. I shop those, but I wouldn't get my supplements there. Okay, there's just not a lot. They're cheap for a reason. Get them from a naturopath, chiropractor, an acupuncturist, someone who's in the alternative field. It's usually going to be supplements to help people. Because then your reputation's on the line, and if it's not making a difference, you're going to find one that will. And you got to take enough. If you get a poor source and you take a maintenance dose, okay. If you want to heal, lots of times you got to take double or triple a maintenance dose, and then work your way back. Okay, so the problem with these high-fat diets, if you just think about it real simply, the liver processes fat, right? The gallbladder produces bile, shoots it over, liver uses that, processes the fat, breaks it down. So now instead of 20% of your diet, it's 80%. Usually the high-fat diet, what do you then do? Not only have you increased the liver's workload, you've reduced its food source. Usually you take in very little fruit. Typically they say you can have vegetables, but even then a lot of people are like, well, carrots are too starchy. You're not going to get her. Eat 100 carrots, you're fine. So now you've reduced the food source, you've increased the workload. Bad equation. So you're going to get a liver issue at some point. You'll probably see your high blood pressure go up first. That gets tested a lot more than the liver. And then you may get aches and pains. The liver can't filter out, so things stay in the blood, and you get an inflammatory response. With an inflammatory response, pain, right? Things are sore and tender. The thing that I never realized until I really got into studying this, so when you have a lot of fat in your blood, or it's dehydrated, there's literally not enough space for the oxygen you need. So now the liver isn't getting the glucose it wants, isn't getting the oxygen it wants. Mineral salts, maybe. Water, probably. Almost every guy in the world tells you to drink water. So you're getting maybe 1 or 2 out of the 4 things the liver needs, and you're asking it to work overtime. So, 20% of your diet healthy. If you really have a liver issue, only eat meat at dinner. Then you have a light, nice, long night to process it. And it doesn't have to keep up with a whole lot else, right? You're resting. Put lemon or lime in your water 3 times a day, 16, 20 ounces. Have a glass of celery juice that hopefully you're making. Spirulina is also fabulous. Spirulina, chlorella are 2 of my favorite supplements. Spirulina is especially really nice in this situation. Chlorella would be good too, but spirulina here would be a little more preferable. And then a cup of the dandelion tea. Dandelion greens, really healthy, cleansing for the liver. You just did that consistently. What you've done for your body and your liver is enormous. Enormous. So the celery is a kind of a craze on social media. I don't know if you've seen that I do agree with. I think it's great. If you can't get organic, then make sure you wash it. Just clean it real nice. Also, you gotta find a way to get out the pain meds or NSAIDs. If you know you have heavy metals, the TRS spray, it's a new spray, we carry it. It just came out from Cosiva, and it helps remove heavy metals from your body. A cleanse is a nice thing. I just did a 10-day cleanse with my wife. 10 days is pretty easy. If you're really got a real issue, then I would consider doing a 21 to 28 day cleanse. Hard to travel or go to social gatherings though on a cleanse. I went to a wedding once on it. It wasn't the most fun wedding I've ever been to. So, you're sitting around, everyone else is partying. And then coffee and alcohol. I don't mind some alcohol, but if you got a liver issue, you got to tone it down. A little bit of wine's okay. A bottle or two every night, not great. And then also you can look what you're intolerant to and not. Coffee will dehydrate you. I don't think 1 or 2 cups is a big deal. But if you got a liver issue and you're drinking 6 cups of coffee a day, some people are just more addictive than others. Some people can have that 1 or 2 cups and be done. Other people, they just keep going. Now you dehydrate the body and you create a problem. Dairy, sugar, grains. Always put this in. Dairy and grains are the 2 most common food allergies. If you're not allergic, get bread done with the long fermentation and get a local dairy farmer around here and get whole raw milk from hopefully a grass-fed cow. To have the good fats in it, it needs to eat green or eat something that ate green. So a cow that eats grass will have good fat, omega-3s. Fish that ate krill, well, krill's not green, but krill or algae will have good fats. A fish that ate krill or algae will have good fats. If it's farm raised, it's fed corn. Not going to have the good fats. Sugar you don't need, we can take in way too much. So the good bad fats, corn oil, canola, soy, margarine, shortening. The good, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, grass-fed butter, ghee, avocados. 20%-ish of your diet. What's that? Oh yeah, go for it. Write it down. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we're almost finishing up. So if you really are looking to make a change or a friend, don't do what I've done many times. Try to change 6 things at once. It's overwhelming. It's hard to stick with it. Pick one thing and do it. And stick with it. If it's just drinking water, that's fantastic. And do it. And do it till it's a habit for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Then add another thing. And add spirulina or add celery juice. Then add another thing. As you feel better and better, you'll want less of the crap that made you feel bad. Okay, so drink a lot of water. Not rocket science. Eat and drink lots of fruits and vegetables. Aren't you glad you came tonight? This is uncharted territory. Control your fat and drug consumption. It's simple, but again, are you doing it? Are you doing it most of the time? You really got to hold yourself accountable. Sometimes you just get mad with yourself if you haven't taken care of yourself and make a change. So the nervous system, really quickly, for those of you who don't know me, the type of chiropractic we do is very, very different. So I'm going to run through that real quick and then we'll finish up. So the nervous system controls everything. And if you have an issue of any kind, you have to look at the body physically, chemically, and emotionally if you really want to heal. And they're interdependent, interconnected. And emotional is the hardest thing. And that really you can only address yourself. Healing takes discipline and it takes time. So give yourself time. You're not going to have 1 glass of celery juice and wake up tomorrow morning and be Michael Phelps. Okay? It takes time, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And the nice thing about natural is when you feel better, it's because you are better. Your body's functioning better. You haven't taken a drug that has a bunch of side effects that's making you faking you feel better. There are limitations though, so today is always the best day to start. So I invest in yourself. Over 50% of all bankruptcies are caused by medical bills. It's much more expensive to get sick. Much more. If you look at what chemo and these things cost, it's insane. So take care of your body. It's worth it. So healing takes time, we know that. I'm not going to spend too much. So what we do is Nuka. It's very, very different. It's gentle. We actually fix your alignment. There's no twisting or cracking. We take x-rays before and after. It is a lot more advanced and precise and thorough than regular chiropractic. There's no twist. You actually center the body in gravity, fixing the alignment. So now the body can heal itself. So once the body's stable, we're able to have, eventually with time, most of our patients come in every 3 months, a lot every 6 months for maintenance. Some people take a while to get there, but most people with time get there. Twice a year compared to once or twice a week that I used to have to do. And they're not coming in because they're in pain, they're coming in to see if they're in line. So this is what we do. You can see the analysis is extremely in-depth. This was a lady who was on anxiety and high blood pressure. It got better once we centered her body, get pressure off the nervous system. Another one, it takes a long time just to even learn how to do the analysis. So, in closing, what's the one thing you can't buy back once you've lost it? Your health. Yeah, when do most people make their health a priority? They've lost it. Sometimes you can't go back. So by a show of hands, who's going to make their health a priority? Go for it. Even if you're not, lie to me, make me feel good for a little bit. You can go home, have a diet soda, and I'll never know. Yeah. Yep. You can give me the bird, and it's no problem. But in all seriousness, if you or a family member, a friend, really does have any kind of issue, it could be vertigo, high blood pressure, whatever, and they're looking for answers, we have an opportunity. You can give $95, come in, you get a full Nuka evaluation, x-rays, analysis, everything, and we'll let them know if we can help. There's no obligation to continue, but there are 2 requirements, just to schedule the night and schedule within the next 7 days. We do that to try to motivate you or whoever to take action. The first step is always the hardest step. If you're going to do this just because it's a great deal, please don't. We're a busy office, we have limited appointments. I just do this for people who have been through the ringer and been to 10 chiropractors and 15 MDs, and they're suffering and they're looking for help. So if you're interested, Megan can schedule anyone who wants that. If not, I appreciate you being here. I'm just going to go get a drink of water. I'll come over here and answer any questions for as long as they need. But remember, health is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. It's a daily discipline.